one more before you report. I hope it will be for 15 minutes only. I know she talks more than, longer than Ate V, but we call on the Assistant Coordinator of PBMK CBG, Rochelle Orense, to share her results.
15 to 20.
Okay, 15 to 20. Okay. You have a 5-minute bonus. That's your victory.
Okay. Good afternoon, Dr. Chen, to our elders who are here, and to all my brothers and sisters. This is my first time to give this victorious report. Actually, I was trying to organize my thought how I can simplify all my victories. But although it's a very limited time, but I want to share it today. First, I'd like to share my first victory was, I consider my first victory was the time I met the principal. That was 1984, January 27. I was moved by the principal itself. That's the reason why I was here. When I was the fruit of street preaching during the 21 days workshops conducted by the 21 days participants. And since that time, when I came to the center and underwent the series of lecture up to predestination, I was moved by the failure of John the Baptist. So I asked the lecturer, why did he commit such mistake? And then the lecturer told me, if ever you were born 2,000 years ago, you might be doing the same thing. So it struck me actually, and I was thinking to myself, perhaps yes, because of ignorance, because of our incapacity to understand God's heart, God's will. And so the lecturer was actually so eager to give me a lecture, which actually we end up already late at night, 10 o'clock. I came to the center 4 o'clock, and then we finished 10 o'clock. And then so he tried to convince me to attend the 2 days workshop. And then I promised that I was going to attend. And that 2 days workshop, the very thing that moved me was the parallelism of history, in which I was able to really agree that the very founder of that movement, who's the Reverend Sun Myung Moon, was really the Lord of the Second Advent. So there's no doubt in me. There were 4 in that seminar. They are all UPians from the UP. I was from the TIP. They're from the up, I'm from the TIP. So they were all crying because already they know. I was the only one who doesn't know yet that the Messiah was here on earth. So, but when I came to find out the parallelism of history, then I asked directly, point to the lecturer, that who is the founder of this movement? And then he told me, Reverend Sun Myung Moon was born 1920. When he said 1920, then he concluded that between 1920 to 1930, he will be born. So there's no other question I gave in. So finally I concluded that Reverend Moon was the Messiah. So from then on, instead of shedding tears, actually I shed laughters. I was so moved by. I didn't know that during my time that the Messiah will be born, Lord of the Second Advent. So my understanding, I thought that my very understanding of the principle will also inspire my family. So immediately when I came back to my family and revealed to them that the Messiah is here, oh, the Messiah is here, we should rejoice. And it turned out that they did not understood the same understanding that I have with the principle. And so that is the time that I shed so much tears. So I remember the words of Jesus that if you love your brothers and sisters more than me, you are not worthy of me. So it reminds me of that words of Jesus. And then finally, I came back again. Immediately I came back because the center is just in front of my house. So, but I ran away and and then go back to the center, and then told the leaders that I was not really pretty accepted by my family. And so all of my brothers and sisters, they followed me, and then they tried to persecute all the people in the center. And then, despite of that, actually I was 19 only when I joined the movement. Anthony was 18, I was 19 years old. So, despite of that persecution, I still, every day I was coming to the center and trying to join their activities there, which is fundraising. Although I was a student in college, but I was doing fundraising and witnessing. I think the time for me is very, where I'm living in a very emergency time. So I cannot concentrate with my studies. Instead, I'm doing a lot of witnessing to my classmates. After this class, we'll go to the center. So that's exactly the momentum I had during that time. So I was very overwhelmed by the principal. And then, actually, for 6 months, within the 6 months period, I've met the movement January 1984. For 6 months period, I underwent the Divine Principle lectures of 2 days, 7 days, 21 days, 40 days workshop. So until I finally complete that, and then my mentor, who is Kuya Jerry Serveto, maybe you know him, actually he's a student of Dr. Samuel Lee and also a lecturer of Unification Thought. He's my mentor in that 40 days workshop. That workshop was very unique because we discussed Divine Principle, Unification Thought, as well as Causa. At that period, when I was witness actually, that was the time that communism is really rampant in campuses. So that workshop was intended for us to pioneer in different regions where we will start CARP activities in Juan Guado Providence. Actually, and I was the first pioneer in Sampaloc area, the University Belt, in which we established student home centers by our own sweat. I did not shed blood here. Blood and tears only. I should say I shed sweat and tears because every day we need to maintain that center through our fundraising. And that's how we educate people in being there. And so, fortunately, I should say fortunately, because my family actually, upon knowing with my dedication to the movement, they tried to challenge me to quit my studies. Then I told my family, that's your decision, it's up to you. Anyway, it's your responsibility to send me to school. But if you won't support me for schooling, so I'm happy to accept your decision. So actually, within myself, I'm very happy because I can do full-time missionary work. So, because at that time, we were really encouraged to do that pioneering. Because there are only few leaders who can really do the pioneering job in CARP and Juan Guado. So, that was the time. So, the following semester, I was really become full-time. So, I should say, for 9 years in the movement, I spent this work of producing members for the CARP and Juan Guado. I was actually the first black belt in the Philippines, promoted sisters. And so, but there was a big blow actually with my life of faith during that time period. The reality was, before I came to the movement, I did not experience those kind of relationship, chapter 2 relationship or Cain and Abel problem. But after I've been in the movement, that's the time I was actually attacked by those kind of temptations and those kind of challenges in my life of faith. So by the age of 23, I was asked by my central figure to apply for the blessing. They said that I can apply for the blessing. So I fast for 7 days. those days, qualification was very extreme because we need to follow 7 days fasting, and then at least minimum of 3.5 years full time in the church, and then at least you have 3 spiritual children, and then undergo the 70 days workshop, which is 2 days, 7 days, 21 days, and 40 days. So actually, I passed all those things. But that first blessing that I was asked to go didn't work. I don't know why. I think the leaders, two parents was not yet. Two parents' blessing was delayed at the time. So I was actually, if I would be blessed at the time, I was only 23 at the time. And the second blessing that happened was the 30,000 couple blessing. Most of you here, I think some of you here were a fruit of that blessing. At first, I applied, but during that period, I was struggling so much this Cain and Abel problem with my leader because of this issue of one model, of the linear and circular. And since I was handling the national one model as a leader, I was struggling so hard with our leaders, and so I don't want to receive the blessing with such kind of heart. So I told God, I prayed to God that I want to pass this blessing. So because I want to have a pure heart. I regard blessing as a very pure blessing. So although I passed the application form, I again withdraw them. And so my leaders were so shocked when I withdrew that. So it so happened that, but I was very happy on the other side of me because most of my spiritual children went to that blessing. So though they didn't know that I'm not applying, but later on they found out I did not apply. So after 1992, that was a terrible, after that year, that was the big blow in my spiritual faith. Because I began to deteriorate my closeness with the movement. Deep inside me, I did never doubt, any single doubt about true parents. But my problem is between Cain and Abel problem. So I had that strong, because my character is very strong, that once I think I'm right, I really fight that I'm to be him. That's what my personal thinking. So what happened is, for 9 years after 1992, for 8 years, I was like a home member, but not so active in participation of the activities. So I do my own business. I was blessed externally, actually. I was able to buy a house on my own car, and then after gaining all those things, God was calling me again for the third time. And in the principle, we know the third attempt of God is really completion stage. Actually, we're 11 in the family. I'm the 6th. I'm the middle. And also, we are 5 daughters in the family, and I'm the 3rd. So I'm the 3rd daughter, actually, in our family. But, so after 8 years of my separation to the church, I was called by God for this blessing here in Korea. Actually, even before coming to the church, after knowing the principle, my really original desire is to be blessed with a Korean spouse. That's my really original plan. So I think God still knows my heart. Still, He keeps my wish. So I didn't know that I was blessed with Korean, but when I was called for the blessing, and then to go for the 2001 blessing, that is actually the blessing of United Nations blessing. So, but although I went through the satellite blessing and little angels, so in that blessing, I felt that I was very victorious because I was able to give up the external life I had, and also at that time, actually, I had some kind of relationship. So I gave up that. So I felt that it's really a big sacrifice on my part. But I really shed a lot of tears when I gave up that. I gave up that kind of relationship, and I gave up also all the external things that Satan gave me. I I went back to zero. And when when I prayed to God, Heavenly Father, if this is you again calling me, and you wish to give me this blessing, if I'm really worthy to this, I just want to be open to your calling, and then whatever you want to make use of me, just use me. That's my sole prayer during that time. So actually, receiving the blessing, 2001 was very, very hard for me. But although it's very hard for me, but I tried to compose myself and really accept the blessing, because I felt that God was, this is the last battle of God and Satan between me. So I felt that at that time is a very victorious part of God. We know that we cannot become victorious in our family or in our tribe or any mission that we can have. Not unless God will be victorious within us. Even if we study the divine principle, we know the failures of all the central figures, and it is because of their failure, accomplishment of their portion of responsibility, that God cannot use them anymore. But God gave me that final chance. And so, tantamount to the sacrifice I have, although I'm not expecting that from God, because I was so repentful when I received the blessing. But God blessed me so much after the blessing. He gave me a very, all I asked from God actually is a responsible man. That's all. I did not deserve for it. I even asked God that if you're gonna bless me, because actually my only ideal man is true father. That's all. I hate all men in the world in the past, because I did not see that in my family. So I have a strong hate towards men. So but when I met your father, he's the only man I really admire, and I felt that he's the only man I should really follow. If I can be blessed with him, I want to be blessed with him. So I really have the kind of picture of man I should live for eternity. And so when I met your father, when I met the principal, so I felt that I thought there's no blessing actually. Only I came to find out that later when I became full-time. So actually receiving my husband is so much blessing to me. He's the opposite of my character, the opposite of my personality. And since my character is very subjective, he's very objective. We are the opposite. I'm the dragon, he's the dog. He was born in the year of the dog. So we're always opposite in many ways. But somehow we know that opposites attract each other, isn't it? That's like when we attract, really attracts. So I was very blessed with three children, 3 boys, and the final, I felt that since God resurrected me 2 times, the day I met the blessing, second is through my blessing, and then the third was actually, most of you don't know this story of mine. Actually, when I was giving, Satan was trying to kill me actually many times in my life. When I was pregnant with my eldest son, I fell down in Chongpyeong. I was very full for 7 months for my eldest son, and we fell down together from first floor down to the basement without touching the stairs. So actually there's another pregnant woman beside me, and that is my spiritual granddaughter, and that's why she witnessed, and she got the shock actually. When she saw me, she thought I'm already dead. So that was actually God's day, nearly Solal, New Year's Day of Korea. Because the time that when I know I was committing a mistake in my step, I know that will be the end of mine. So in that sense, I experienced death in life already. And there's no other thought that you can think of except to think about God. So even the moment of prayer, there's no time to pray when you are confronted with death. So when I had the wrong step, for my first step, and I was very heavy at the time with my heavy coat because that's winter and heavy snowing in Cheongpyeong. So when I see that I'm gonna fall, I just close my eyes and then think about God because no time to pray anymore. Just think about God and then thinking that He's gonna protect me and my son. I put my right hand on my belly, protecting my son, and then put my left hand on my head to protect my head, just in case. Because actually I'm trying to visualize the kind of rolling in one waddle that we used to practice with the rolling. So I was visualizing that if ever I'm gonna fall, I need to go that kind of, like a ball, roll. So actually, I didn't know what happened because I already closed my eye. Only my spiritual granddaughter saw the event. So what happened when I fell down directly, and then I thought I will wake up in the spirit world already. So I just heard a big boom, big bang. Already I'm on the end of the stairs, the second floor, the basement one. And then when I asked my spiritual granddaughter, she told me, actually you were floating. You did not even touch the stairs. That's why he was shocked. You were floating as if somebody floating as if straight, not bended. I did not even touch the stairs. So you were floating as if somebody is carrying you. So I thought there would be a lot of blood on my head and I would be bleeding a lot. But then what happened? Exactly the kind of imagination the kind of picture, image, I'm gonna fall is exactly the manner I felt. Before I fell, the exact concept I want to fall is exactly the kind of position I have. So even before Demonic assistant came in to pick me up, because actually we came out ahead of the participants because I was actually conducting a seminar of Divine Principle in Korea. We just came out to attend the special ANSU of Demonim for special equivalent to 40 days ANSU for that. So I just time out for that during that seminar. So I was hurrying to go back to Kuri for the seminar. And so when I opened my eyes, I thought I would be in spiritual, but I can still hear Edna's crying. My spiritual daughter's crying. And then there was nobody who helped me to rise up. I stand up by myself. And so when the assistants of Demonim came in, are you okay? I'm okay. Actually, it's just a miracle. My husband was also behind, my spiritual granddaughter, and two of them were the people who were shocked. They could not even say a word. So that is actually, for me, it's a victory. That is a victory for my family, actually, for me. I felt that Satan is not trying to kill me, but also trying to kill my son at that time. But because of that, I felt that when we lay the proper condition of heart, what God needs from us is actually our heart. If we try to connect that with Him, I think God will always give us victorious moments in our life. I still have many things to say, but I don't want to take more